We're here with Tarsa, social media manager for Cal Poly Esports. Thank you so much for being here and for adding value for those international students.
Yeah, no problem.
So, before we start to get into like the conversation about your program, can you tell us a bit like your journey of how you got to be a media manager in your program?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it was just as a freshman, I was looking around for clubs. I showed up. I talked. I was talking to people, and I because I already had was managing social media and stuff at the time. I was like, hey, I'm interested in helping out, and then one thing leads to another, and then eventually, yeah, here I am on the board position.
Nice. And is it something you major in, or it's a hobby or a passion you had? Social media. Is it something you want to
It
do like when you graduate?
Yeah, I mean, it's just a passion. It's not my major. It's not my field of study, but it's something that I have fun in. And like, ideally, if I get lucky, or maybe if something works out for me, I'd keep doing this even after I graduate. But anything can happen, I guess.
That's great. And what are you studying right now?
City and regional planning.
Okay, that's great. And can you explain like what do you want to do with your major? Like
Yeah, I just want to help design better cities, especially like in the U.S. If you've noticed a lot of conversation recently about like the design of U.S. cities, how it's bad for the people, the environment, all that stuff, and that kind of got me wanting to do something about it in a way. And it's also kind of interesting once you start learning more about it, kind of how much impact this field has that on kind of everyday life that a lot of people don't realize.
mhm. And in your program, like is there a lot of like what is the ratio of students that would like to go and potentially work in the esports industry, and those students that just would like to go to workforce in the major they're studying? Is there a lot of students that want to go
I
there
would say that like it's a bit of a mix because a lot of our students, a lot of the people in that are in our like teams, clubs, programs, and all that stuff, a lot of them tend to be engineering majors, which engineering, right? Like they're gonna want to work in engineering, make six figures out of college. So I'd say it's kind of like a mix. A lot of people that I talk to, if they're able to get a job in esports, if it just if it works out for them, then they'll gladly take it. But they're not. It's not like it's not their number one goal. It's not like what they're going to school for.
Mhm. No, that is great. And for you guys, like, what would be like for you, like in charge of all the emails of the social media? What is the day to day like? How do you combine it with class and everything you have to do, everything they have to do extra after class?
It's like for a lot of stuff that that my position does is very kind of free flowing. I can kind of just do it whenever. If I get an email, I can just check it whenever and respond to it whenever. And for a lot of us, we're all in the same boat as very busy students. We're all gamers. We don't sleep that early, anyways. So a lot of our meetings and a lot of our kind of well, organization, anything that happens of that sort, usually takes place at night uh, after everyone's done with class, had dinner, maybe done a bit of work. So everyone kind of settles down. It's like, all right, we have a meeting at like 10 p.m. or something. So it kind of works itself out over time, especially once you start talking about using your weekends as well, start planning events around everyone's schedule, that it all kind of clicks into place. It doesn't really feel like that big of an issue.
Mm-hmm. No, that's great. And for players, how many hours do they put a day or a week? Do you guys have like scheduled practices, or is that as
It
as you say more like in the flow, whenever?
it's I think a lot of because a lot of the teams just kind of they have their own functions. Each team does
Hmm.
their own thing, whatever works for them. But for the most part, from what I've heard, is a lot of mostly just going in the flow because things change week to week. One week, a player might need to study for an exam on Tuesday, or maybe they have dinner plans on Thursday. It changes each time, it changes each week. So a lot of times they just kind of go with the flow. Of course, if there's stuff they have to show up to, like, oh, there's a match at this time, then they will make it their number one priority. But for the most part, they just go based off of whatever every week.
That's right. And do you guys would you like guys like for your program to be like varsity level, or you're very happy with a club level, and why?
I, as much as like being a club and having that autonomy is nice and fun, but a lot of us are pushing to be, recognized by the university, right? Doesn't necessarily have to be officially under like athletics with the whole varsity banner and everything, I but we're working to at least support our our efforts, whether that's providing extra funding or maybe special privileges that other clubs don't get, or and actually right now I think we're working with the computer science department to get a kind of lab built on campus because we do have I think 6 computers that we that we got from Generation Esports, and they're
Mhm.
so we would want to set that up alongside some other stuff that the CS department helps us with, at least provide us with a space on campus. That's one of the things that we also really want because uh, firstly is that not everyone is able to bring kind of everything to school. A lot of people usually just settle for like a laptop, like a MacBook or something along those lines. They don't bring their whole gaming setup, or maybe that their you know living accommodation doesn't allow them to have maybe good internet or a good setup. So that's something we're fighting for as well. And I think we're making good strides, but it's at the end of the day, it's still a struggle because we're just a club. We're just, you know, it's like we have like 15 people on board, and it's not easy to campaign the school for anything right
Mhm.
now. So
And what other positions, non-competitive, are you planning on recruiting students in that you think you need, like, to make it better?
yeah, like as time goes on, well, it's something that in the moment, like if we feel like we need something like another position, we will. I think right now we're looking at least in the fall, we're looking to involve more new students, whether that's freshmen or transfers, and involve them kind of with anything that they're interested in. If they want to help out with sort of managing teams or making event and making hosting events, or like I know I would like some help with social media and like graphic design and video editing, and as well, and we also talked about starting a production team to help with any of our events if we choose to stream them, or if we have anything that we can do in that regard, just to help everyone get the experience that they need to work in the esports industry.
And is Cal Poly like helping you every semester more and more, or what do you think? What are you guys planning? On achieving to see them, uh, to make them see like the potential. That expanding a esport club can have in the student population. And all the advantages it has. Like what is your
Yeah.
guys plan? For example, let's see 1 year from now. Let's not say five. 1 year.
One year we're hoping that we have finalized the details with the CS department, and that we have a space on campus. We are hoping that at least the student government, or the student body, so we have a like an associated students kind of organization, um, which serves for all like the student recreation and student government, student representation as well in the like university administration. That all goes through them. We're hoping to to get their official support, just to be able to make a better case with the administration. And fingers crossed. Ideally, we have everything sorted out in a year, and they're like, "Hey, all right, here's this big check. Here you go." But progress takes time. I don't think we'll get there in a year. So
In the budget, just put you need budget for a gaming house as well, maybe.
yeah, might as well, right? Like fraternities have a house. Let's have a house too,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, I mean, yeah. And do you guys also try to go to LAN events, or it's mainly like all the competition online? How does
Yeah.
how does that work?
Yeah. So, given our school's location, it's a little awkward. We are
Mhm.
located along the coast between San Francisco and Los Angeles. So a lot of LAN events happen in Los Angeles and that general area. The area is Los Angeles. That area is humongous. It takes an hour to drive to the other side, with traffic, maybe even two. So it is a large area that we'd need to travel to, and that's not always feasible for us, especially during the school year. So a lot of our events so far have been online, just because we're very far from a lot of events. We're trying to see if we can attend more in-person events, or we're also looking at potentially hosting our own land, since we're in the unique position of being in the middle of the state, that we can invite a lot of schools from northern and southern California and still not be a tough sell because we're in the middle.
That's right. And for those clubs that esport clubs that are in the same situation as you guys, like what have been the actions that you have taken, to the administration, like to get like more budget or more aid in some way? It doesn't have to be like monetary, but like some help, some what have you guys done that has worked, and maybe it can help, like other clubs
Yeah,
that are in the same process.
I think we're still very early in the process. We
Mhm.
haven't really spoken with administration too much. We've had some like side, casual conversation about it with administration, but we haven't had anything formal, sit down, business talk related.
Mhm.
But given the small talk that we've had with university administration, it does seem promising that we can work something out in the future. I think right now we're just looking towards at least just outside assistance for the most part, to kind of
Mhm.
help us build that pathway into the school, there prove to the school that there is a reason they should be pouring money into this, which would a lot of that would come from outside sponsors, or industry experts that can kind of help us with that cause.
Have you guys been like divining sponsors and stuff, talking to potential sponsors, or something you're
Yeah,
planning?
so that's something that we're working on. It's a slow process because there was a bit of a kind of a hiatus between kind of the previous group of people that did a lot of work and us, who's also trying to push forward with a lot of work. There's a lot of stuff happened in between, a lot of drama with some people, which I'm not going to get into. But long story short, right? It kind of a lot of previous connections were lost, so it's something that we have to rebuild again, start talking to people again, and it's a slow process. We're getting there right now. We have we're in the TSMU partner program,
Mhm.
which right, TSM, big org. You know they help us. They can help us with merchandise and you know event requests. Kind of, we can request staff and all that type of stuff. Uh, and 100 Thieves owner Nade Shot, his energy drink. They send us some Juvie. They send us drinks every so often. We've gotten stuff from Red Bull, MSI, HyperX. So it's all a let's build this up again process. And
Yeah, I
this
mean, with
year's
your,
that's the
yeah,
goal this year.
yeah. I mean, with the academic standard that Cal Poly has, getting like internship opportunities and getting that funnels with those companies that you told me, I think the university would be up for it. Like, and that was the question I wanted to ask you. Like, what, like, as a whole, like, if you could speak for your whole program, what would be, like, do you think the objective of the program, when talking to administration? Like, we want to be the top competitive team. We want to open like student positions to develop our skills. So when we go to a workforce, we already have experience, or we want to be more like like, what would be like the objective? Do you think, from what you've talked with the team?
Yeah, if we were to talk, like, so if we're gonna talk to administration tomorrow,
Hmm.
one big thing we want to emphasize is because our school has a very experience based education model called, we call it learn by doing, and being able, and kind of with a lot of majors, right, that can involve itself kind of in the general esports, with especially like business administration, and with like accounting, or working, like sponsorships and all that stuff, marketing as well. That's all experience, valuable experience. And we have other majors too. We have a experience, like, what's it called, recreation, parks and tourism administration, which in it you can do a lot of event planning and stuff. So that also is something that they can work on, and just general kind of communication, hard skills that are producing results is something that our school really likes. And if and we so we'd lead into that argument a lot, as well as if we're able to involve large big corporations, big esports orgs, or maybe, or like gaming related companies, that we can start to build a case and start working on, hey, this is real world experience that we're building for our members, and this is something the school extremely really values. If you
Hmm.
want to help us continue to be able to provide high quality real world experience for our students, for our members, then help us out. Well, give
That's
us
right.
money.
Yeah, that's right, Tarsa. That's right. And just to wrap this up, like, where can people find you guys, you and the program on social media?
Yeah, so on all social media except Twitch, we are at Cal Poly Esports, on Twitter, Instagram. Uh, those are the biggest two that we operate on.
Okay.
Uh, we uh, we that Those are the biggest two communication channels. So find us there. Our Twitch streams, which should have a lot of VODs of previous events. It's Cal Poly underscore esports. Someone took the original name, unfortunately. We don't have a website built just yet. And in general, if you want to learn more about the school, just go to calpoly.edu. We don't really have a presence there. You can explore the clubs. We are listed in the club section if you want to look over there as well, and might as well take a look at kind of the other gaming clubs on campus, because we work closely with them to make everything work, make everything happen. And well, might as well, while you're there, just take a look at everything else.
That's great, Tarsa. Well, thank you so much for your time, and we keep in touch.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.